This is for people who are already in business, thinking of getting into business. Also for people who are sort of helping professionals, consultants, coaches, people who are freelancers, if you like, sole traders. You don't have to have a big business with an office. I mean, who has an office nowadays? But before we go into why I think that you should do YouTube and why now is a very good time to be doing YouTube, let's flip it and look at some of the reasons that people have given why they're not doing YouTube. Those of you who follow me on social media may have seen a post that I did a while ago, and I asked people to say why they weren't doing YouTube or didn't have a YouTube presence. And these are some of the things that came up. Some of them made it in, well, in fact, all of them in some form made it into a video that I did on the subject. And if you go to TinyCC, why not YouTube, then you'll see a video that I made which had, I think it was 25 excuses or 25 reasons that people don't do YouTube, and I think it captures the essence of all of these. Incidentally, and perhaps somewhat ironically, that video was done in less than an hour, and I don't show my face or even speak on it. So some of the objections about having a face for radio and not wanting to appear on video and not wanting to use your own voice were all covered off in the act of making that video. So I'd encourage you to check it out if you haven't done already. I think also that there's another reason why perhaps people don't do YouTube, which is not explicitly stated in this or in the video. And it could just be that we don't feel that we're part of the YouTube crowd, the YouTube generation. There seems to be this idea that in order to make it big on YouTube, you need to be like one of these fine specimens here, who are apparently some of the biggest YouTubers. Now, I live on YouTube pretty much and have done for many years, and honestly, I think I can name possibly one. I think that's a guy called Shane who got himself in trouble by doing something he shouldn't. But I don't know any of the other people, yet they're supposed to be famous. So I don't think you need to be, well, I know you don't need to be a huge YouTube star, and you don't need to be, I've got to be very careful what I say, you don't need to be off the wall. You can be a normal person. And here are two very normal middle-aged people. That's what you get if you put normal middle-aged couple into the clip art thing that I've got. Anyway, we're probably more like these than these. Not making a value judgment. I'm just saying that you don't have to be wacky and down with the kids and gangster to make it big on YouTube. You can be like this. Right. So that's the underlying reason perhaps why people don't do it. Let's have a look at some YouTube facts and figures. I'm not going to do the thing where you read the slide, because I was told when I did a presentation course that you shouldn't do that. So I'm assuming that everybody can read it at your leisure. But I am going to point out a few things which, to be honest, surprised me when I started to do the research. Let's just point out a couple of things here. About half, in fact just over half, of the views on YouTube come from people who are aged between the age of 35 and 65. So there's hope for us yet. Great thing about the people aged between 35 and 65 is they generally have money, don't we? Which is fantastic, which means that we can relieve them of that through having our business. So it is actually worth targeting. You know, the perception is that most people on YouTube are very young. God, don't you hate them? But therefore very skint. Not the case. It's good sometimes to have some grey hairs, or green hairs it looks like on my green screen, doesn't it? Here's another surprising one. Nearly 51% of B2B, business to business, decision makers use YouTube to research purposes. Now, that did surprise me, but you know, I used to be the owner of a couple of reasonably sized companies, and I would often use YouTube to look for things like software reviews and research various bits and bobs, bits of equipment that we bought from the office. So it's true, I guess. So there is an opportunity if you run a business to sell to other businesses. Although don't forget, as we were always taught, businesses don't sell or buy from businesses. They buy and sell from people within those businesses. And those people, it would appear, watch YouTube. not sure how relevant this is. 9% of US businesses have a YouTube presence, only 9%. I don't know what that is for the UK. My guess is it's probably smaller than 9%. A lot of stuff outside of the USA. Um, YouTube is growing. Um, a couple of years ago, when cinemas were open, I remember that there were actually adverts in the cinema for YouTube, and there's kind of some irony there, and that maybe they're competing. But there's also been adverts on the sides of buses pushing YouTube, so it's growing, and the pandemic, such as it has helped that growth. Number of channels earning more than 6 figures per year is going up. I'm assuming 6 figures from advertising. Now, as business owners, we're not going to rely on advertising. That's what most people talk about, but actually that's only one very small way of making money on YouTube. But I will show you later on, it's possible to make very serious money. In fact, 6 figures a year is conservative. 6 figures a month would not be unreasonable or unattainable. Here now, it is incredibly easy for even newbies, small channels that are just being started right now within the last few weeks or few months, to rank against to rank in very competitive niches against the big channels. And that's due to a new development in YouTube's platform, which I'll come on to later on. But it really is an amazing time right now. I don't know how long it will last. I'm a YouTube partner, but I don't have inside information. But my guess is where there is money and opportunity, people are suddenly going to start jumping on it. So now is a good time to start thinking about YouTube. Well, all of those facts and figures, so what? I always do this when I'm copywriting, actually. Ask yourself a question and then answer it. So what? So what about all those facts and figures? What does it mean to us? Well, as business owners, we want to get maximum exposure at minimum cost, don't we? I know when I started my translation company a few years ago, well, a few years ago, more than a decade ago now, before I had any of the grey or green hairs, we used to advertise a lot on Google, and at that time it was relatively cheap, but now it's very expensive to advertise online. I guess Facebook advertising was cheap when that started. That's now got expensive, etc., etc. But as I'll show you later on, it's still possible to get traffic very cheaply on YouTube, where you should be paying through the nose to get it on Google. Targeted lead generation. We want leads coming into our business, but we want the right kind of leads. Now, YouTube is great for finding the people that are genuinely interested in what you're talking about, what you're selling. Its whole algorithm is designed specifically to do that, as we will see. Free market research. Once you've got a YouTube presence, then in your analytics, your viewers will unconsciously tell you what they want from you through the search terms that they're using and various other metrics, but also in the comments. Believe me, people on YouTube will tell you what they want. Now, whether you respond with a market offering to bring it to them is up to you. But why go and pay a market research company tens of thousands of pounds to tell you what, in their opinion, your market wants, when your market will tell you directly and for free? You have a growing sales force selling while you sleep. I like to think of each video that's made as a potential salesperson that will be talking to your prospects and warming them up 24/7. The great thing about YouTube is it does start to get a life of its own, and things start to grow. People use this word exponentially, particularly in business. Everyone's talking about exponential. Not many people, I suspect, are using it properly in the mathematical exponential curve. But on YouTube, that does tend to kick in. In fact, you can see this little graph here. It's not quite exponential yet, but that's not a graphic that I made up. That is actually the traffic and the views from a channel that I set up in December of last year, and I'll share more information on that later on. So what this means is that the videos that you've produced, which are kind of like potted you or encapsulated you or your business, are developing know, like, and trust within your potential client base before you even have first contact with them, while you sleep, internationally. It's quite amazing. And YouTube's going to pay you for this. Unbelievable that YouTube actually pays you to market your own business. This will result in increased authority in your niche, in your business area. You will no longer be a something. Let's use accountant as a example. You no longer be an accountant. You will be the accountant that people know on YouTube. You'll have perhaps minor celebrity status within your niche. And what happens when you get celebrity status or you become an authority? It takes you out of the commodity market and allows you to premium price, because everybody wants to talk to the person that they've seen on YouTube. A bit like getting on a stage, I guess, that as soon as you're on the stage, you're 3 foot higher than everybody else. Everybody assumes that you're smarter than them. Chances are you probably are, but the perception there means that the balance of power changes and people come to you rather than you have to go to them. It's quite amazing as well that the size of the stage. I mean, I remember when I used to do public speaking badly. I used to get invited to speak at places, and like a big gig would be 400 people for me. On many of the YouTube channels that I've got, I'd get that in an hour, if not in a minute, frankly, on some of the channels. So suddenly you've got a global stage that you can sell to 24/7 and get paid for doing it whilst you're asleep or in the pub when the pub's open. It also makes having a good YouTube presence makes it easy to refer people. So, you know, if let's use the accountant again, if I'd like to refer the accountant that I use, and the accountant has got a really good YouTube channel with lots of content on there, then I can send a link. Say, go and check out Fred, the accountant, and people can go and see it, and straight away, you know, they can spend time with Fred before they get on the phone and bother Fred. And they'll only get on the phone if Fred and them are a good match. So you won't spend a lot of time, or Fred won't spend a lot of time talking to people who are never going to turn into legitimate business leads. Okay, so that's if you're an established business and you have an office. See what I did there? If you're a new startup, you're a newbie or a startup, so you haven't got an office, you've just got a laptop, then here's some advantages of going down the YouTube route. There is 0 startup costs. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to subscribe to anything. You don't need to configure software or host anything. You don't need a website. You don't need to build an email list to get a following. I would strongly suggest that you do, but you don't need to. That can come later. And YouTube will help you build a list, because you can put in the description of the videos that you have a list and to join it and all that kind of good stuff. You don't need any technical skills. All of this stuff that I see from website, even the build your own website things, I won't mention them by name, but the sort of self-builder things, you still need some technical skill. Designing a website isn't easy, and it's not much fun, to be honest. It can get a bit boring. Don't need to have a website. You don't need any technical skills to make a video, and you have all of the equipment that you need in order to make a video. And by the equipment, I should have turned my phone off, shouldn't I? But by the equipment, I mean, if you're watching this now, then you either have a computer or you have a phone, or both. And you can make really good videos, particularly the kind of videos that I'm going to be talking about later on a phone. In fact, I've had very, very good results with phones. In some instances, better results done on a phone outside walking around a park than when I used to own a professional studio with all the green screen stuff and the lighting and the editing and everything else. Keep it raw, keep it real. People love it. Okay, so existing businesses and startups. Let's have a look though, before we go too much further, how big YouTube channels make money, and then contrast it with what we're going to do as business owners. I want to do this really just to knock off the various things and then show you where we're going to focus, because people have a misconception as to how to use YouTube to make money often. The one that everyone talks about is AdSense, or advertising revenue. AdSense is when people advertise on your YouTube channel, and YouTube very generously, I think, gives you 55% of the advertising revenue from the advertisers who place adverts on your video. That's amazing if you think about it. YouTube is giving you access to a global audience for free, putting your stuff in front of people all over the world for free. It's giving you unlimited hosting of your videos on what's almost a bulletproof platform. So I've been in the YouTube space for, I don't know, since it was pretty much since it was invented in 2005, I think it was, and I've only ever known of one YouTube outage, and that lasted a few minutes. And I did a video about it actually and cashed in on it. But it's bulletproof, pretty much. And then they give you 55% of the money, over half of the money they give you. It's crazy. They're paying you whilst doing you a favour. The only downside of that, really, is that you need to have an awful lot of views to make significant money. Now, depending on the niche that you're in, that determines how much the advertisers will pay. I reckon very roughly you're talking about between 200 and maybe top end 1,000, maybe a little bit more dollars per million views. So you need to have a lot of views to make a lot of money in the AdSense world, and it's a lot easier to make money in some niches than in others. Just to give you an idea of how this works, the channel here, Little Baby Bum Nursery Rhymes, was set up by my friend who was actually working with me in one of the companies before I sold it. He set this up, and this is Nursery Rhymes. Now, he sold it, or they sold it. It was him and his wife. I shouldn't say he. It was a joint effort between him and his wife. Lovely people. They sold it back in, I think it's 2018. Now, I don't know how much they sold it for. It was a lot of money. And you can see why. Because based upon the estimates from something called Social Blade, it's reckoning that now, bear in mind they've sold it, so they have nothing to do with this anymore. But Social Blade is saying at the low end, they're getting about $130,000 a month. At the top end, say $2 million a month. I happen to know, because I'm in it to an extent, that the kids channel stuff, the advertising revenues are not great because of a change that was made in 2000 and beginning of 2020, I believe it was, which reduced the advertising money in the kids channels. But let's take it halfway. Let's say that it's $1 million a month, $1 million a month from advertising through making videos. Can live on that, can't you? So that's AdSense, and that's what everyone talks about when they talk about making money on YouTube. We'll see in a bit that you don't need to worry about that. Just quickly, Patreon, this is kind of like a digital platform where people can donate to you. Digital begging, some people call it. Sponsorship. As you start to get bigger, people will come to you and make you offers to sponsor their products. You don't need to go out and pitch. Remember, as your YouTube channel grows, the balance of power turns towards you in your favor. So no longer are you going out knocking on doors. People will be coming to you. Your biggest problem is going to be a fat in tray. Merchandise. You can make your sweatshirts. You can sell your stuff. You can sell all sorts of things off of YouTube. In fact, YouTube has got better at this in the last few years. It now integrates a lot of the merchandising stuff into the platform directly. You can sell someone else's products. This is better known as referral or affiliate marketing. So, you know, at the low end, you could sell other people's ebooks. You could recommend other people's products. A lot of people do stuff where they recommend the camera that they're using on Amazon. It's endless. Basically, if you've got traffic, then you can sell things, whether they be your products or someone else's products. You know, make your own digital products, sell your own paintings, sell your own whatever you want to do. You've got traffic, you've got the power to persuade them to buy whatever you want because you're looking directly into their eyes on the video, and that's powerful. At the end of the day, if you want to, you could sell the channel. And I say my friends sold their channel. I also heard over Christmas, I've yet to speak to him to verify this, but one of my other friends over in the States sold his channel for multiple tens of millions of dollars. And if you just sold something for multiple tens of millions of dollars, would you talk to me? No, we'll see. But he probably will, because he's a nice guy. He lives in Vegas, so who knows what he's doing in Vegas. What was it? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, something like that, isn't it? Probably good given that he lives there. Okay, so how can businesses like us make money? Well, if we're not going to go down the route of doing the huge YouTuber model, then here's what we can get out of it. As I've mentioned before, targeted lead generation. YouTube's algorithm, once you've trained it, will put your stuff in front of, or your content in front of people who are likely to want to buy your stuff. And whether that stuff is products, whether it's services, there will be an audience out there interested in what you have to bring to the market. You don't need an email list, but what a great way of building your email list. So I have a channel which produces nursery rhymes, and I give away a free PDF colouring book in return for their email address. Now, you can give away anything, can't you? You can give away a lead magnet, you can give away a free consultation, whatever you want. Build your email list. You can also directly get hired. So if you're a consultant, if you're a coach, if you're a public speaker, people will hire you because they will have seen you and you will become an authority and a celebrity. Remember what I said, you're no longer a speaker, you are the speaker, and therefore you're out of the commodity market, and therefore you premium price. The example I always give is Eric Clapton plays his guitar. Eric Clapton is famous. Do you think that Eric Clapton goes knocking on pub doors saying, I'll play for free if you give me a gig? No. He sits there, and I'm guessing his agent takes bookings for gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, say, and he puts his own price on it. Now that's an extreme example, but you will find that people will come to you and it will no longer be about price, which is nice, isn't it? Which is nice. Okay, some intangible benefits. It's not all about just the money right there and then. As you grow on YouTube, you will also grow in terms of your skills, in terms of your sort of personality. You'll be able to inspire people. You'll be able to reach people that you wouldn't otherwise have reached. And unlike me right now, particularly with the kind of videos I'm going to be talking about shortly, you'll learn to get to the point quickly. And YouTube will tell you in its analytics where you're not doing that. The algorithm and the analytics, or Lady Algorithm as we sometimes call her, is pretty savage. She doesn't pull her punches. She'll tell you where you're going wrong, and she'll also help you get things right. Something which I'm also keen on is, particularly for coaches and helping professionals, is you need to make money. Let's face it, we've all got bills, and depending on where you live in the world, it can be expensive. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to help some people to some extent who can't afford you just yet without having to charge them? I won't get personal, but I went through a very painful divorce, and I got a lot of help from a lot of people on YouTube by watching their content. I've subsequently bought products and things from them. But wouldn't it be great to be able to help someone and them not have to pay you, because the advertisers are paying so that you can serve people who probably can't afford you. Maybe they haven't got the money because they live in a part of the world that the money isn't as strong as it is where you live. Anyway, I won't labour that, but it allows you to give back and serve and get paid for it, rather than having to always do pro bono work, which is the alternative. Okay, so to talk about the know, like, and trust relationship, and the reason why I'm probably a little bit different to many of the YouTube coaches out there, in that I'd see subscribers as secondary. Now, it's true, if you want to monetize your channel through AdSense and make all of those millions, then you are going to need to get 1,000 subscribers, and you're going to need to get 4,000 hours of watch time within the last 365 days. That is in order for you to get the advertising revenue. But as I've said, unless you're getting millions and millions of views, which is perfectly possible, but it's going to take some time, you're not really going to be making an awful lot of money directly from YouTube's advertising. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to be seen by people in your target audience, even if you have no subscribers. To be honest, there's this huge myth on YouTube that people will subscribe and watch your videos. Simply not true. Simply not true. On many of my channels, over 90%, and sometimes over 95% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. And you will find exactly the same thing. It's not about the subscribers, it's about the people that find your video because they're looking for it, or the people that YouTube's algorithm puts puts your videos in front of. So this lady, one of my clients over in the States, really lovely lady. She takes action. She does the work. She's got 149 subscribers. Yet when this message popped up, it was the middle of January, she was already getting bookings for her coaching sessions. And that's with 149 subscribers. So you don't need a massive presence. Okay, so the best time to have done YouTube may have been a few years ago, because obviously the channel has grown, and there is more competition on YouTube. But the reason that I say may is because it's only very recently that a new type of video called YouTube Shorts, which I'm going to be talking about shortly, has been brought out. So if you'd have done it many years ago or a few years ago, then you wouldn't have had the same opportunity that you will have now with YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts is just incredible. I'm not hyping this up because I'm going to show you some tangible examples, but it's given small people, maybe people who haven't even started a channel yet, the chance to get in front of people and compete with people that have been doing this since day one and are absolutely huge. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift to us. So the best time to start is now. It isn't too late, and you'll never be ready. You know, when will you be ready to do this? You won't, because you're always going to need a better camera, aren't you? You're always going to need to be more confident, aren't you? You're always going to need to practice more, aren't you? Well, I hope I'm proving right now that you don't have to be perfect. You just need to press record and do it. And as I say, the wonderful thing about YouTube is it will give you feedback on what you're doing right. It'll give you feedback on what you're doing wrong and help you correct it. It's a long-term project. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. But then I don't know any which are legitimately get-rich-quick schemes where you get rich. You might get lucky, you might invest in the right thing at the right time, but that's not the YouTube way of doing things. YouTube is a long-term game, but you can get quick results, as I will show you. Right, next slide. YouTube Shorts. Now, some of you may have heard me talk about YouTube Shorts. Some people may already know about them. I'm assuming that many don't, and more importantly, many who do are probably not doing them. And I want to show you some results that we're getting with YouTube Shorts to push you over the line and get you to actually press record. But just briefly, what are YouTube Shorts? YouTube Shorts are YouTube's answer to TikTok. I don't know whether you've used TikTok or not. I went on it a couple of times. It's very silly, in my opinion. It's aimed at the younger generation, much younger generation, and although you can make money on it, and I have seen businesses doing well on it, it's not the kind of business which I think that you and I are probably in. But it's hurting YouTube at the bottom end of the market. But remember, the bottom end of the market typically don't have much money, because it's the people, you know, towards the mid-30s and over that are mainly on YouTube, and certainly in the business space it's YouTube. But shorts are YouTube's response to TikTok. What they are really is just short videos, less than 60 seconds, slightly different format to the way that YouTube has requested creators create since it began in 2005. And here's the opportunity. Since 2005, until Shorts came along very recently, they were saying make your videos in landscape format and make them long. Make them 10 minutes or more, in some cases several hours. Now what they're saying is do them in portrait and keep them to 60 seconds or less, and actually a lot less. Good results are happening with shorts, which are, well, I've got one that got thousands of views. I think it was 14 seconds long, but certainly less than a minute. So they've diametrically changed what they're asking people to do very recently. What does that mean? What it means is that there is hardly any inventory, hardly any videos in YouTube's memory bank of available videos that meet the criteria as being a short and are therefore eligible to be shown on the shorts shelf, which is a special place that YouTube shows them. So they have a lack of stock. So what we need to do if we want to capitalize is make stock. In other words, let's make some short videos, and we'll find it extremely easy to go up against very competitive people if we give YouTube what they want. Remember what we say always is find out what they want and give it to them. That's what you do in a marketplace. Well, in this instance, the person buying, if you like, is the YouTube platform. So let's find out what the YouTube platform wants and then give it to it. And what YouTube platform wants right now is short videos. Shorts make it really, really easy to subscribe. The whole thing, as we'll see in a moment, is set up to help you get subscribers. You don't need subscribers, but I know you want subscribers, so you're going to get subscribers. There's a bit of vanity in there, I guess, if you know, it's a bit of social proof, but honestly, as I've said many times, the value of subscribers is overvalued. But shorts are catnip to the algorithm, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I looked for catnip. I think they may be stinging nettles. It doesn't look like catnip to me. But anyway, that cat doesn't look very happy. But the algorithm absolutely loves YouTube Shorts, as I will demonstrate. So quickly, here is what the YouTube Shorts shelf looks like. On a mobile device, whether it's iPhone or Android, if you go onto your YouTube account, you'll see that videos here in the short format pop up. And it's very tiny here, but this one here, this lady getting married, it's got 3.2 million views. This one here, I'm not sure what's happening, 14 million views. Those are big numbers. And you can also see when people click on it or tap on it, then you get a nice big red subscribe button. And the subscribe rates on shorts is through the roof. It really is. Far, far higher percentage of people subscribe when they watch a short than they do when they watch a regular video. Let's have a look. These are people that I work with in real life. And I'm going to show you what Shorts is doing for them. This is Duncan Brody. Hi Duncan, not sure if you're on the call, but thank you very much for your help today putting this presentation together. Duncan's got, by his own admission, a relatively small channel. He's got about 32,000 views altogether on the channel, just over a couple of hundred subscribers. Since we started working together, by the way, that's gone up 150%. I didn't know that. Duncan told me, and therefore, please don't think I'm bragging. I'm just telling you on behalf of Duncan. His channel is growing, and the reason his channel is growing is because he's creating videos regularly, and is now starting to do some of these shorts videos. Let's have a look at what's happening with his shorts videos. This morning, he did a short at 7 a.m., released it at 7 a.m. I was I was laying in bed, checking my phone at nearly 8:30, and up pops Duncan's shorts. Now, it had been out there for what, just over an hour, just under an hour and a half. 7 o'clock, it was 8:27, which you can see on my phone. Duncan's video popped up in the short shelf. Fantastic. Great to see you, Duncan. And what's even better is on this particular YouTube account, I'm not subscribed to Duncan's channel. I'm subscribed to his channel on other accounts, but on this particular account, I'm not. But the YouTube algorithm knows that I like the kind of content that Duncan is producing. Therefore, it's put Duncan, very small creator from a very small channel, in front of me, way ahead of some of the bigger channels. I mean, again, I don't want to denigrate, the size of Duncan's channel, but by his own admission, it's tiny. There are channels out there with millions of subscribers and probably billions of views, which have been around for years and years. Yet it's Duncan that appears on my short shelf because he's producing shorts and they're not. There's a lesson in there somewhere, folks. And here, to get a little bit geeky for a moment, is the analytics from Duncan's YouTube channel. It's not that particular video, it's another one that he did about opening the job interview, the opening job interview questions shorts. This was one that he did a few days ago, and the reason that we're using this one is it typically takes a few days for the shorts to get onto the short shelf, but look what happens when they do. He had a total of 536 views. That's the total number of views on the video, but here is a graph that shows where those views have come from. So nothing pretty much for the first day, the second day. Towards the end of the second day though, he hit the short shelf. The algorithm put his video on the short shelf, and all of these views in blue came from being on the shorts shelf. And this pink arrow that I've put here, I call it the shorts boost. That's the difference between what his videos have got because he made a short video and what typically his video would get had it not been in the short format. The lesson here is, folks, make shorts. Start making shorts. Even if it's a brand new channel, start making shorts. You will get traction, as I will prove in a moment. But let's see how we can use videos. Again, the shorts ones are a great example because they're easy to use, they're easy to create, and you will get traction quickly. Let's see how, from a lead gen perspective, getting leads via YouTube compares to buying them on Google pay-per-click. Now, as I say, when I had my translation business, we used to spend several $1,000s a month on expensive keywords in the translation sector. Now, I happen to know that in the financial and insurance sector, the adverts are really expensive. I looked in the Google keyword tool this afternoon, and for keywords in the Keyman insurance space, which is just one that I picked at random, to get a good set of clicks, you'd be paying around £38 per click. That's £38 for someone to click on a Google ad. Imagine how expensive that gets quite quickly. What if we could get people who are interested in Keyman insurance to engage with us for less than £38? What if we could do it for free? What if we could do it without even showing our face or using our voice? And what if we could do it forever without having to pay Google every time? Likey? I think so. Back in January, I set up a channel just for fun, really, just to see whether or not I could rank and whether I could get interest in this one of the most competitive and expensive sectors, the insurance sector. And I called it, even though I know nothing about Keyman insurance, and to be politically correct, I called it Key Person Insurance, but the channel name, because those are the keywords that people are searching for, is Keyman Insurance Expert. Keyman Insurance Expert. And I made, was it 13 videos altogether. This was the middle of January. And I just left them there, and I've done nothing with them. There's no promotion, no nothing. So as I was putting this presentation together this afternoon, I thought, well, I remember one of the keywords that I was targeting was how much is Keyman Insurance? I'm just going to copy that into the clipboard. And then I'm going to get up a Google Incognito window, and we're going to go to YouTube and just see whether or not any of those videos are ranking. Always use incognito, by the way, because otherwise if you do it from a logged in channel, it will remember what you've seen in the past and all this kind of stuff. So this is just raw YouTube. Don't want to sign in. I agree Google can steal all my information. And then I'm just going to search for how much is Keyman Insurance? Now this could be anything in your sector, obviously. Let's have a look. Oh my gosh, it looks like I fixed it, doesn't it? But the very first listing here, how much is Keyman Insurance? That's my video. If I go down, there's another one of my videos. How much Keyman Insurance do I need? I'm guessing I'm in danger of showing off. Oh, here we go. Look at this. This is a playlist. Playlist means if anyone clicks on this, they don't just get to see one video.
Your company could have various work.
They get to see all of these videos are presented to them, which are the ones that I made. Now, I'll play one just for a moment, one at random, just so you can see the format of the video. They take minutes to produce.
In most cases, key person insurance will be treated as a business expense and is therefore tax deductible. The two most common questions regarding Keyman insurance tax treatment are...
As you can see, I'm not in it. My voice isn't in it. I'm nowhere near as good looking as him. So I'll let him get on with it. But this is just produced using software. Have I misspelled TikTok, Perry? I'm sorry. This is just produced using software. And the key thing is get a bunch of them up there. And as you can see, we've just got #1 listings. I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better, could it? I didn't know it was going to do that, to be honest. But if we really were offering Keyman Insurance, in the description, we could put a link to our website, couldn't we? Or we could put a link to a free download or whatever else you do. I know nothing about the sector. But rather than buying clicks on Google, we can get free clicks when people are searching YouTube. And a lot more people search YouTube for stuff than you would think, rather than Google. And once your channel becomes established, which this one isn't because it hasn't been around long and it hasn't had very much content, when people search in Google itself as opposed to YouTube, these videos will start to come up. So you've effectively got a way of dominating your niche for free and for almost no work, to be honest. Once you get the hang of producing these, you just need to churn them out. How hard can it be? How hard can it be? Deborah, do you get better traction by being in it personally? I don't know, Deborah, because I don't appear in them personally. I've never tried. Probably, but then you can't sell it, can you? And I always look to, don't want my face on stuff because then I can't sell it. But you probably would, particularly if you're a good presenter, and particularly if you're as interesting as you are, Deborah. I'm just not. But have a go. A/B test it. Do a few with you in it, a few without. I mean, on one of the channels, which I'll show you later, I've got really good growth just using a synthesized lady's voice. And I don't think, looking at the numbers, I could get much better by using a real voice. But we'll look at that later on. Anyway, so there you go. Free traffic, or at least free exposure. And just to prove it isn't a fluke, I'm getting towards the end now, this is a channel that I set up on the 23rd of December, 60-second love advice. And I'm not saying that I'm qualified to give love advice, but having been through a divorce, I can certainly tell you what not to do. But all of these videos are shorts. There's been no promotion, they're just organic. They're produced in a similar way to the one that I just showed you with the Keyman Insurance, using a lady's voice rather than a man's voice with an American accent, because looking at the analytics, the main market for this is from the States. They're written in a lighter tone because, again, from the analytics I can see that the target market is typically females of the age sort of 18 up to mid-30s. So I've tailored the offering to what the market wants, and I'm being rewarded by growth. It's only 114 subscribers, but this will continue to grow. This will continue to grow as long as I keep producing content, and there's no reason why not to. It takes me, I reckon, somewhere between half an hour at the quickest and an hour at the longest every day, and at least half of that, maybe more than half of that, is producing the thumbnail, because thumbnails are really important. I won't get boring about that, but that's it. It does work. So ask yourself, is YouTube for you? Ask yourself, can I produce some videos? Can I produce some short videos? Let's face it, by definition, the videos don't have to be long. They should really be less than 60 seconds. I would argue if you can aim for between 30 and 45 seconds, you've hit the sweet spot. The only thing you need is a phone. You've already got a phone, or if you've not got a phone, if you're watching this, you've got a laptop. You've got everything you need, apart from perhaps the desire to do it and the understanding of the reason why it would be a good idea. I hope I've at least answered the latter. There's very good reasons to do it. Have you got the desire to do it? Have you got the, I was going to say guts, have you got the confidence to do it? Well, only you know that, but I would suggest having a go. That's it. If you don't already know me, we're not already connected, then let's connect. What do they normally say? I'm available for weddings, bar mitzvahs, funerals, whatever the saying is. If you need some help, this is not a pitch. You reach out to me, and we'll talk. But if you don't need any help, then just get on with it. Just do it, because in a few years' time, when you're looking back, you'll be kicking yourself thinking, if only in 2021 I'd have started a YouTube channel, I would be sitting on a pile of incoming leads and possibly advertising money, and you'll be in a different place. But you need to start sooner rather than later, because it's not false scarcity on my part. I can see that there are already more people doing shorts. In fact, I think on the original slide it was 3.5 billion shorts views are happening every day. Now, shorts have only been around, I think it's a year. They started beta testing a year. Imagine in 5 years' time how crowded that's going to be. It's time to make a land grab and own it.